This is a test. This is only a test of the emergency broadcast system and your mom. Welcome to the first episode of a one-man podcast. We weren't expecting to go this way. And by we, I mean me and the other personalities in my head. But here I am, recording this for you. I hope you enjoy the subjects that we talk about. And I hope some of you don't enjoy them. Matter of fact, I hope some of you fuck off. But enough of that. Now on to today's topic. For this first episode, I'd like to cover a past experience of mine from 2002. Mostly because a patent was recently released from around that era, describing exactly what I had seen that night. It's a great story for what it's worth. I had 3 friends with me at the time, so I don't feel like a lunatic, but probably sound like one relating the story to you. But it's okay. So, late one night, my friends and I are hanging out. It's a weekend. We don't have to work the next day, but we're all broke anyways. So we're debating how to earn some money the next day. And my friend Lewis basically knows some people out in Black Diamond area that own a farm and could put us to work the next day so we can make some cash. So like, okay, let's go drive over to Lewis's house and crash there, since that way we won't have to travel far in the morning. We decided to smoke a couple cigarettes before we take off. So there we are outside, and we're just looking up at the stars over towards Orion's Belt. And we're just talking about off-the-world topics, just random stuff, whatever comes to mind. But we decided to wrap it up and get headed over there because, you know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and we are kind of tired as is, and we're only going to get a few hours of sleep before we get up to work. So, Lewis and I get in his truck, Robert and Ash get in their car, and they tear off. We go to back up out of our parking spot, and the truck stalls. Lewis goes and restarts the truck, and we pull up to the stop sign to exit our apartment complex. And his truck stalls again, so he restarts it again, and we pull out onto the street, and it stalls one more time. When it stalled this time, I just looked behind us back up towards Orion's Belt where we were staring earlier, and all of a sudden I saw what I thought was a plane at first. But it just kept getting lower and lower and closer, and all of a sudden I realized that's not a plane. And in my confusion I said, "Stop the truck!" And Lewis is just kind of looking at me like, "What the hell are you talking about? It stopped." And I'm like, "That's not a plane." And this thing rested basically right above the apartment complex, which was pretty large to begin with. I mean, it's a large L shape, and its wingspan was wider than the apartment building, as well as the length of the craft was longer than the apartment building. Lewis and I are both looking up at this thing, and Lewis is starting to freak out a little bit. I am inside a little bit, but I've got my composure together, and I'm just kind of like, you know something? Fuck it. If something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I opened my door, and I got out of the truck, because I wanted to get a good look at this thing before it took off. So I stood there, looking up at this craft. And the first thing I noticed was that the material it was made out of looked just like the Blackbird spy plane, the SR-71, or the stealth bomber, or the, the F-1117, or whatever that one is, the other one, the goofy looking one. But anyways, the material looked just like that, except for what else I saw was a little light at each one of the points, and it oscillated from red to white and back and every shade in between. And in the middle of the craft, what I saw looked like a half sphere protruding down out of the bottom. At the time, I had no better way to describe what I was seeing other than if you took electricity and made it liquid and flowed it back and forth in a bowl, that's pretty much what it looked like. It wasn't until years later I actually saw a plasmic discharge and realized that is what I saw that night. So there we are, staring up at this thing larger than a football field above our heads that we have no clue what it is or what it's doing there. However, at this point, I'm just thinking it might be military because of the material that it was made out of. However, at the point, I was not really discounting the fact that it could possibly be alien. I mean, after all, seeing a UFO. It just kind of sat there for a few minutes, doing its thing. Then it just started slowly to move off towards the north. And just as if you just took each moment and each second in exponential speed acceleration, it just kept gaining speed until it just shot off over the horizon at a G-force I couldn't even imagine. I had no explanation for what I saw. Neither did Lewis. We both were just really confused, a little shocked, and we were just kind of laughing because we could never have believed either of us would ever have seen anything like that in our life. And we couldn't wait to meet back up with Robert and Ash and let them know what we had seen. So we're driving towards Black Diamond trying to catch up with them. We finally catch up with them just a few miles away from the place that we were going, and we pull up side by side at a stop sign. And before I could say a thing, Robert rolled down his window and asked me if we had seen that UFO. And we said, yeah, we did. And he's all talking about this triangle craft and all this stuff and explaining it just how we had seen it. And it wasn't until the next day when Robert and I were hanging out and we were discussing this whole situation that I found out that they didn't actually see it where we saw it. They saw it 15 minutes after we saw it, south of where we were driving from. And that thing headed north when we saw it. So I can only imagine if that was the same craft or not. I have no clue. But the day goes by, we go to work the next day, make some money. Robert and I go to hang out over at Clark Lake around 10 o'clock at night. This was our hangout spot where we go out, hang out on the dock, smoke a little weed, drink a little beer. No one would bother you. As long as you parked in the church parking lot across the street, the cops wouldn't come in and search for anyone. And so that was our routine. We'd park in the church parking lot, walk across the street, go up to Clark Lake, hang out for a while, go back, drive home. But anyway, so we get out, we pull up into the church parking lot, and we get out of the car. Robert's passenger side door had problems with the lock, so he's always paranoid about it. So he asked me to triple check it, and I made sure that it was definitely locked before we left. And we walked down to Clark Lake, walked down all the way to the dock, and we get onto the dock, and just as we're getting to the end of the dock, both of us hear the same thing, which is really hard to describe. The best way I could possibly explain it is if you took, like, say, the sound of a bullfrog and increased the audio bit ratio on it till it was almost like a Nintendo sound. If you remember, like... But it literally signaled off around us as if you were signaling off the hours on a clock. And at the same time, like, I literally saw him fall as I lost my motor skills and I started falling towards the ground. It's weird because my eyes blacked out. Like, I literally just saw blackness. And then when my eyes came to, I was in the exact same composure I kind of fell in because I fell on my knees and Robert fell on his butt. And when I opened my eyes, we were no longer on the dock. We were on the grass just adjacent to the dock. And both him and I just looked at each other like, what the hell? We both just got up and we both were just panicked. We ran, and we ran to the end of Clark Lake, or to the edge of Clark Lake, back to go across the street to get in our car. And when we got to the street, there was a black SUV parked next to Robert's car, and there's two guys going through his car. So we start walking up the street, trying to pretend like we have nothing to do with the situation whatsoever. As we're walking away, I look over my shoulder back towards his car, and one of the guys is looking towards us and shines his flashlight at us. And I'm just like, okay, it's the cops, let's go face the music, see what they have to say. So we turn around and we start walking back towards the church parking lot. Just as we get to the edge of the parking lot, this SUV comes tearing off, takes a left, and drives off. And as it's driving off, I see its plates, and it's government-issued plates. And I'm like, huh, okay. And so we walk up to Robert's car, our car over there, and his car doors are unlocked. And he's like, what the hell? We go through, nothing's missing out of the car whatsoever. And at this point, we're just weirded out. We don't know what to think about the last 24 hours of our life. This has just been bizarre. And so Robert starts his car. And this is where we both freaked out because it was now 1 a.m. It takes 5 minutes to maybe walk from that parking lot to that dock. 1 a.m. We got there at 10. That's almost 3 hours of missing time that I can't account for this day forward. But that's my story for what it's worth. Take it or leave it. It's all good. It's an anecdote. Deal with it. But enough of the anecdotes, let's get to the facts. All my research has led me through things such as the occult, the paranormal, basically any abstract thing that you can possibly imagine. And we'll get to plenty of those in later episodes. But the current one at stake is a device known as the Rotary Electrostatic Propulsion System. You can find it on the U.S. Patent Office underneath patent number 200-302-09673. And if you cannot find it there, because their search engine is crap for a United States government website, you expect a better search, but the Patent Office really does suck the donkey's balls. So, if you go on Google and simply just type in Rotary Electrostatic Propulsion System, you will find it in the first few links on the Google Patents. Underneath the Google Patents, on the upper hand side, you will see a link to USPTO. that is United States Patent Office. Just click that and you'll be on the patent on the United States Patent Office to show you that this is an actual patent held by our government, not just Google. Thank God for that. So, when we pull up the patent on the Patent Office website, we find the following. First off, the inventor's name is John Quincy St. Clair. And if you look up his patent history, he has quite the extensive patent history. I mean, this guy's been involved in all sorts of things, from the internet you get on your cell phone to you name it. All sorts of little wireless technological advancements this guy's been responsible for. He is no joke. He has a long history of inventions that literally have revolutionized our world. So just realize that when you think about some patents out there are just patents to hold an idea, this guy is no joke. This guy is top of his field. So in the abstract entry for the patent, for the rest of you, that's right at the beginning of a patent, you have the abstract, which basically explains what the patent's about. This is what it says. Quote, "This invention relates to a spacecraft propulsion system utilizing thrusters comprised of a motor-driven electrostatically charged cylinder rotating within electrostatically charged annular ring for the purpose of creating a space-time curvature stress energy tension in the horizontal direction. The thrusters are augmented by magnetic vortex generators, either embedded in the cylinder or located above each thruster, for the purpose of increasing the permittivity of space by permeating each thruster with low-density hyperspace energy generated by a wormhole created between r-space and hyperspace. A combination of 3 thrusters mounted on the underside of the hull of the spacecraft provide the thrust and yaw motion control." Now wait for it. I came into this unprepared, so watch as I scroll ahead. So, the patent citations that this patent gave to other patents that make up what they're talking about here, you'll find underneath patent, underneath Google anyways. Hang on one second. Let me switch to the link here so I can pull up the actual... Excuse me. Better get to me at this point. Or something. Patent number 5,052,638. This one's called Electromagnetic Ramjet. It's the first patent he cites. The next one is the evolvable propulsion module. And that is, looking up, patent number 6,193,193. Hey, redundancy. 6,193,193. You won't forget that one now, will you? Ever. Stick in your mind. Stick in your mind. Alright, and the next one would be the superconductive geomagnetic craft. Looking up the patent number for y'all, so you don't have to. That is patent number 6,318,666. 666, the mark of the beast. Sacrifice is going on tonight. Okay, and the next one is Advanced Technology Propulsion Study. 1 second here. Looking at the patent number for y'all so you don't have to. The patent number is 20010004098. Advanced Technology Propulsion Study. Don't ask me to repeat that. Alright, and the last citation would be Propulsion Systems for Space Vehicle. Patent number again. Patent number 20020085661. If you now have bingo, please make your way to the front. That is propulsion system for a space vehicle, again, in case you missed that the first time. Alright, now let's look at the referenced by. So, the first referenced patent application is by the same guy who made this patent. And it's for, guess what? A triangular spacecraft. And again, looking up the patent number so you don't have to. Patent number 20060145019. The abstract for this, which is entitled Triangular Spacecraft, a spacecraft having a triangular hole with vertical electrostatic line charges on each corner that produce a horizontal electric field parallel to the sides of the hole. This field interacting with the plane wave emitted by antennas on the side of the hull generates a force per volume containing both lift and propulsion. Now, in the description it says, a brief summary of this invention. This invention is a spacecraft having a triangular hole with vertical electrostatic line charges on each corner. The line charges create a horizontal electrical field that, together with the plane wave emitted by antennas on the side of the hull, generate a force per volume, providing a unique combination of both lift and propulsion. Background of the invention. Referring to Figure 1, the spacecraft has a hole in the shape of an equilateral triangle. A parabolic antenna is centrally located in the bottom of the hull. An array of horizontal slot antennas is located along the side of the hull. Each back corner has a corner conducting plate which is charged to a positive voltage. The forward corner has a conducting plate charged to a negative voltage. A motion control hemisphere is located on the bottom surface in each of the three corners. Referring to Figure 2, two planes intersect at the origin at an opening angle. Each plane is charged to a voltage. The potential at point is determined in polar coordinates. The Laplace equation for the potential in polar coordinates is given by, and it's an equation I don't understand. Using a separation of variable solutions, the potential is given as the product of two functions. But as you sort of get the idea, it's basically a triangle which is producing an electrical field beneath it and then propelling off of it using three engines, which was described in the previous patent. So here you have it for the most part. The other patents here, let me just give you the other ones that were cited. Here's one from Varium Technologies Incorporated, and it is patent number let's see here, 20070295010, and Malcolm B. Stevens is the patent holder, and it's a method and apparatus to generate thrust by inertial mass variance. The next one is by Michael J. Carew. Angular momentum engine is what it's called. Un momento por favor. And going back to the patent website. And that patent number is 20120062059. Again, angular momentum engine. And the last citation is held by John H. Rust Sr. Inertia mass suspension is the name of the patent. And pulling up the patent number for y'all so you don't have to is 20120097798. Again, that's the inertial mass suspension. In other circles, in the conspiracy center of things, people refer to it also as the TR-3B. Why? Because there's a craft known as a TR-3A that looks similar, vaguely similar. I don't know why it caught on, but it did. But all I can say is, I've seen it. You can believe me or not. That's the choice that you make. And also, I don't blame you. It's all about personal research. Do your own. That's all I ask. Have a good night.